Welcome to our lesson on applied taxonomy. If you'll remember, we've been studying about the taxonomy of life. That is the scientific classification or grouping of organisms. Our objective for this lesson, when we are finished, is that I can classify organisms into a domain. That is our objective for this lesson. Now, just a quick review about the taxonomy of life and the traits that we are going to use to help us classify into domains. It involves, first of all, autotroph or heterotroph, producers or consumers, sexual or asexual, how do they reproduce? One parent or two parents. Unicellular, multicellular. Is it made up of just one cell or more than one cell? And finally, our most recent lesson was on prokaryotic or eukaryotic. And that simply means, do the cells in that organism have nucleuses or not? Just a quick review. These, again, are our terms that tell us how we classify into a domain. Energy, autotroph, heterotroph, the number of cells, unicellular, multicellular, reproduction, asexual, sexual, or cell type, prokaryotic, eukaryotic, nucleus or no nucleus. Now, here are the three domains. In the taxonomy, every organism will fit into one of these three domains. You have bacteria, and all the organisms in the bacteria domain are unicellular. They can be either autotroph or heterotroph. They are all prokaryotic, and they are all asexual. In the archaea, can you say archaea domain, all organisms are unicellular, all organisms are autotrophic, all organisms are prokaryotic, and all are asexual. And finally, the largest of our domains is eukaryota. This is where organisms can be either unicellular or multicellular. It could be an autotroph, heterotroph, but they are all eukaryotic cells, and they can be asexual or sexual in reproduction. Now, with these particular traits and characteristics, we can use them or apply them in order to be able to classify. And I'm going to do that for you right now. Follow along with me as we classify a rose bush. What domain would a rose bush be? Well, here are the traits of a rose bush. It is asexual, autotroph, multicellular, and eukaryotic. So I'm going to look at this first trait, asexual. And I notice that bacteria can be asexual, archaea is asexual, and eukaryota can have asexual organisms. So that doesn't tell me what I need. Let's look at autotroph. Is it a producer or consumer? Well, bacteria can be an autotroph, archaea can be an autotroph, and so can eukaryota. So now I still don't know what domain it best fits in. Let's go to the next level. Multicellular. That means it has more than one cell, more than one type of cell. Over here in bacteria, oh look, it can only be unicellular. So now I can mark off bacteria because it cannot be bacteria since it's multicellular. Down here in archaea, look, I have the same problem. Archaea is also only unicellular, so I can mark it off. And that leaves eukaryota. And notice eukaryotic, eukaryota, eukaryotic. And now I have been able to place or apply taxonomy that a rose bush belongs in the domain eukaryota. Now it is your turn. In just a moment, I want you to pause this video and you try to classify Streptococcus. Streptococcus. That's the organism that causes strep throat. It is asexual, unicellular, heterotroph, and prokaryotic. These are its traits right here. This is what it looks like under a microscope. So at this time, I want you to pause your video and see, can you apply and figure out which domain that it belongs in? I'll be right back with you in a few moments. All right, let's work on it together. How do we classify Streptococcus? It's asexual, and again, bacteria can be asexual, archaea, so can eukaryotic. Eukaryota, excuse me. It's a heterotroph, and bacteria can be a heterotroph. Archaea can't, so I can already rule out archaea, and eukaryota can also be a heterotroph. So now I'm looking at bacteria or eukaryota. Next it says it's prokaryotic. And I look over here, look, bacteria is prokaryotic. Over here, oh, eukaryota is only eukaryotic. It's not prokaryotic. All of its cells have a nucleus. So you know what? Now I can rule out eukaryota, and I'm left with the domain of bacteria. Streptococcus belongs to the domain bacteria. Is that what you got when you looked it up? When you applied your taxonomy? Did you get bacteria? So let's review this lesson on domains. There are 3, bacteria, archaea, and eukaryota, and we can use the traits in those domains to help us classify any living organism. And I think we've met our objective because we just got through classifying both a rosebush and Streptococcus. Thank you for joining me.